Let's go fishing.
Let's go fishing.
I'm on a mission.
I'm on a mission.
It's so pretty, I'd sure hate to waste this chance. We'll find us a shady little spot, not too cool, not too high.
Guys, I had a pretty good morning this morning here, and I went in the government cuts. When I started jigging a little bit, jigging things wasn't going on, so I come in here and started trolling. It was non-stop. I'm telling you, I don't know how many I caught, but good fish, but there's a lot of them big ones. Okay, come on, that Mafia twister tail, guys. Right there, right there. When I was using that Mafia rod, and but yeah, I mean, these Mafia baits, they produce them. They produce them. You can see, I'll show you, watch the video. I mean, it was just non-stop from the time I pulled into the government cut till I left. I just, this has got to be the crappie capital of the world here in Lake Okeechobee. Here in the reeds and the brush, it didn't happen. Guys, I put in and I run out into the little grassy there, and I thought I'd try it a little bit. And but the water's just a little bit murky there. I mean, it's not crystal clear. I was looking at it, it was just a little bit murky. But you know, I was going to go out to the edge of the lake. It seems like that's all where it was. The reeds meet the lake, so it seems like that's always good place to start and just kind of work your way back. But I jigged here and jigged there, had a jig, where a jig, didn't catch any. I didn't even get a buck. And I thought, man, what's going on here, you know? So I picked the motor up a couple times and tried different places jigging, and you know, it just didn't happen. I mean, it really didn't happen. Talked to a couple other guys, and they're out there jigging too, and they'd been in there since daylight too, and they hadn't caught anything. So anyhow, like I said, I went from here to there trying, and I had the old grass shrimp on there. Usually that produces, but it didn't produce this morning, you know. But that jig bites, it's going to really happen here. When that water warms up a little bit, it'll help that jig bite a good bit. The water's cold. I mean, it's down in the 50s. You know, that's cold in Florida, guys. I mean, that's cold up north. You get down here in the Sunshine State, and that water's 58, 59 degrees. That's cold. And we got another cold front coming in. I don't know. We'll just play it by ear. I know last year, I was talking to Mr. Richard this morning. Last year, it went clear up, and the best crappie fishing was in the middle of April to May. Jigging. I mean, it was just on the river and in the reeds. They were everywhere. I mean, they come in late, and it might be a thing like that again this year. So, but that's all right too, you know. But yeah, like I said, I kind of dissected a lot of them reeds and still didn't catch no fish. I pulled her up run in there to the government cut, and boy, I'm glad I did. I had a good morning. I mean, it was just non-stop. I mean, they were hitting that Mafia twister tail now, and that Mafia pink twister tail. I mean, just as fast as I can get it out there for about an hour and a half, it was non-stop. I don't know how many I caught. I didn't keep none of them because I don't want no more. I got plenty of them in the freezer, but it was fun. And like I said, you can always tell when they're really good fish because they stay down, and they did. They stayed down and jumped like a daggone bass. I mean, that cold water got them, pretty fired up. But it's only in the cut there. It's only about 4 or 5 feet. So I'd have to pull the baits in every once in a while, clean them off because they had moss and grass on them. I had to really adjust my speed to keep it off the bottom. And if you went too far to the left and too far or not far enough to the right, well, it would shallow up on you. And this lake they're going to drop it down to 11 foot. Well, if they drop this thing down 11 foot, 10 foot, you Floridians know, heck, you won't even be able to get into the government cut. It'll be so shallow. It'll only be about 12 inches deep. But right now, guys are in the government cut. I'm telling you right now, they're really in there. And you could probably go in there and put some minis out and catch them if you wanted to do the miniing thing, or you can go in there and troll like I'm doing right there and catch them. And I would say they're along the shore too, jigging. If there's that many fish in there, because my fish locator, he just lit up. When I shut it down, I put that fish locator down, turned it on. I thought, oh boy, gonna have a good time this morning, and it was. I mean, it was just non-stop. I mean, yeah. If you want to get a mess, get down there and get in there and get them. But I hear they're catching them in the river too. So I was talking to Mr. Brian this morning, and Brian pushes them. He's the one who's telling me about pushing and showing me how to do it. And I think he caught 50 this morning pushing. Kept 25 big ones. So yeah, I mean, it would be hard to do that in that shallow water there in the government cut. I like to drag them, troll, because you can catch them. But also you can go on the bank over there and jig and catch them. I'll tell you what else you could do if you wanted to do it. You want to have a little bit of fun. Is go in there and cast out in the middle with a Mafia spinner or even a road runner with a Mafia twister tail, and you'll catch them. You know what I'm saying? Kind of funny, all them guys in them pontoon boats are running to the river. I watched them pass me going to the river, and shoot, they're running over top of probably thousands of fish in that government cut. They didn't even know they was there. I mean, they were in there now. But pink and chartreuse seemed like that was the real ticket, and then also I was catching them on blue and chartreuse. Seems like pink and chartreuse was doing a lot better, And I wasn't throwing it back that far because I wanted to keep it up off the bottom. I was only throwing it back here about 25, 30 yards. And I was trolling a little bit faster. I was going a little bit over a mile an hour, so because if I didn't, it would get on bottom and get stirred up. But yeah, I had a good morning this morning. One of the better mornings I've ever had trolling. I think they had a crappie tournament this morning out of Okeechobee. I'm not sure how they done. I'm sure they did because the crappie are hitting pretty good. I mean, just as fast as you can get it in, you can pull them in. I've seen several wrap boats in there that had crappie stuff on them, so I figured they were in there. Most of them were jigging, just going around through there jigging. You can see the cloud cover. It was cloudier than heck. I mean, it was a little bit cool this morning, but just as soon as that, about before I quit, about noon, it kind of cleared off and that sun came out. It warmed up pretty nice. I had 3 on at a time there for a couple times. It just, it was just non-stop, man, just non-stop. That's why I like trolling. You can find them. If it gets tough, like going out there jigging didn't happen, I knew. Once I found them trolling, you can just keep going. I just kept doing a figure 8, going back and forth through them, and just catch them. But when you're making that turn, though, you have to be careful sometimes because Even though I turn it up wide open, and it still get down into the moss at the bottom, get stuff on it. And a lot of times when I turn there, I reel them in and make sure there's nothing on them, because you don't want to troll for about an hour and not get a bite and think what's going on, and have all kind of stuff on it. But yeah, a few times that I pulled mine, they had stuff all over them and I had to clean them up. But yeah, I was using that Mafia rods and that Mafia twister tails, and here I'm telling Doris about it. Doris is coming down his bay, and he wasn't doing anything good out there jigging either. And I told him, I said, go over on the bank over there and try to jig it, because man, I'm just catching one right after another. And I don't, I'd say this probably on the bank. I didn't go over here because you don't leave fish to go find fish, but I think Norris was burnt out because he had fished about 3 hours and only caught 2 fish. He was out there in the reeds where I was, and it just didn't happen. Yeah, guys, if you go in that shallow water like that, you gotta go a little bit faster to keep that bait up off the bottom, because it's not a hard bottom, it's a muck, and it'll go down in there and it can get stuff on your spinner, and then you're not going to catch no fish. So you just kind of speed it up a little bit, and whatever, when you just speed it up, slow it down till you start catching them, then you'll know how fast to go. The only thing I found out, like I said, when you make a turn or something, you really should pull them in, check them, because they were picking up stuff. They were picking up stuff in the turn. I caught a couple was over 13 inches. I mean, they were a pound and a half, fish. They were nice fish. Them Mafia rods, they're ideal for trolling. I mean, they got that give, and you can see I didn't lose any fish. I mean, the crappie, when it gives, I mean, when they hit it gives enough, and I'm going a little bit faster. I'm probably going 1.3, 1 mile and a half. I'm going pretty fast, like I said, to keep it off there, but still I didn't lose no fish. I mean, they still hooked them good. You stop down in the shop, Garrett's Tackle Shop, and they've got them rods, and they've got the Mafia twister tails and Mafia spinners to do this, and I like them, especially the Mafia spinners and twister tails. Like I've said before, the twister tails are just a little bit bigger than the other twister tails. It gives you a little more action, and the Mafia is flat instead of like the Road Runners. It's flat, and you got more action. So 4-pound test, guys. I went to 4-pound test. It seems like I'll catch more fish with 4-pound tests than I do the heavier line. But this shallow water, you could probably go up to 6, maybe even 8. Kind of keep it up off bottom a little bit. But I wasn't going to switch all my lines out for, I just left 4-pound test and just speeded that electric motor up a little bit. Got a bass trip in the morning, guys. I got to try to figure out some bass. I got a father and son thing going on tomorrow, and it's not supposed to get cold tomorrow. I guess Monday it's supposed to really start dropping down, and that'll shut the fish down again. I mean, it really will. But you can see where these fish are. I mean, I'm saying they're not on. I'm not saying they're not up on the bank with that many fish, but they're right out in the middle of the channel. I mean, I kind of swung back and forth a little bit. But when I swung out in the middle of the channel and turned on the locator, it just lit up. They were all out in the middle of the channel. And they were, even though it's only 4 or 5 foot, they still hugging the bottom. So it was kind of a touch and go to try to keep that thing just off bottom, keep that baits right off bottom. If you did, you caught fish. You got too low, you got hung up. You got too high, you didn't catch fish. So, but yeah, you just have to kind of experiment with your speed to catch them. Yeah, it was like a Chinese fire drill sometimes. I mean, every one of them rods were going off. That's what it's all about, ain't it? Catching fish. I really enjoy it. I have guys texting me asking me why I'm throwing them back all the time. Guys, I got my freezer full of fish. I got some from last year. I really don't need no more, and I just like catching them too. You know, just like catching bass. And if I want a fresh mess, so I can go out and get. I don't. You know, there's no sense keeping 25 of them. I mean, you can keep your limit, but I'll tell you, you get 5 or 6 of them, you fillet it out. That makes a good dinner. Get some hush puppies and 12 fillets out of 6 fixed nice crappie. That's enough. But yeah, even the ones in the freezer, I give a lot of them to my old buddy Russell. Russell's down a little bit. He got some health things going on. I give a bunch of them to Russell. You know, so. But yeah, don't go out there and every time you go out there, if you can get 50 of them, don't keep 50 of them, guys. You just, you know, keep enough for dinner, then go back out the next day and catch you a mess. Wind laid down a little bit, and I'll tell you something. When that wind laid down a little bit, when it was windy and rough, you could hear it. Seemed like they bit better. I think it just gives them more cover. Gives them more of a comfort zone to strike. I think, you know, when it starts flattening down and really getting flat, they don't seem like they hit as well. I don't know what that's all going on, but and this is about the 4th day after the full moon, so I was pretty lucky. I mean, because usually right after that full moon, for about 4 or 5 days, you don't hardly catch anything. But I just found these fish by luck. I mean, it was nothing but luck. Because when I shut down and turned it on, I thought, oh, looky here, you know. And I had no idea. It was just luck. And then I started down through there and swinging. I swung to the right and left and seen where they're just right in the center of the canal. And I just kept an eye on my fish finder, my live target Lance, and just stayed in them. That's what's really nice about them live targets and you know, live scope. It takes all the guesswork out of it. I could stay right in them fishing. I could turn around and come right back and watch that television, you might say, and just stay right in them and keep catching them. And for crappie fishing on Lake Okeechobee, they're really nice. Bass fishing, I use them sometimes if it's 5 or 6 foot out there in the grass, so I can find them. But in the shallows, I've seen them guys talk about, you know, put it on scope where they can see the bass moving around in there. Well, I've never got that down yet. I haven't, you know, if it's 3 or 4 foot and they're in there spawning, swimming around, I haven't got that down. But crappie fishing, man, Lawrence live target's really nice. I mean, you can see I've got it turned on all the time. Blue and chartreuse, guys. Blue and chartreuse. Guys, you want to go crappie fishing down here, or even bass fishing? We got several guides here at the shop that'll take you out. Mr. Bob puts them in the boat. He's a good crappie fisherman. You know, if you call in there, ask for Captain Bob to go crappie fishing, and also Captain Danny. Captain Danny stays pretty busy. It's hard to get him, you know, to go. And then they got Butch also. But yeah, if you come down here and you want to go out, you know, give the Garrett's Tackle Shop a call and see what's going on. I'm pretty well scheduled for almost the rest of this month and part of next month. So, but I still got some openings. I mean, I'm not completely scheduled, but I still got a few openings. But most of us get this time of year when everybody comes down here from up north, which I don't blame them. When it gets cold, come down here and fish. You know, we're booked up. You know, we stay booked up, but But we all got except for Danny. I think Danny's booked up for the rest of the month. You can't get Danny, but you can get Mr. Bob, Captain Bob, and some of the other guys. But yeah, Danny and Bob and me and Butch, you can get us to take you out. But give the shop a call, and they'll figure it out for you. And if you call me and I don't answer the phone, 9 times out of 10 I'm out on the water. Okay, if I'm not got a trip, I'm out there looking for fish. Okay, so don't get kind of huffy with me. Just leave me a message and I'll get back with you when I can. But yeah, it's just we're busy this time of year. You know what I'm saying? January and February especially. This is a busy time of the year. chartreuse, guys. Chartreuse. Yeah, it was non-stop. Like I said, a few times I had 3 of them on at a time on the poles, and I mean that's not good. Sometimes they'll go back and get everything tangled up. Then you got to regroup. Maybe even put new line on if you get tangled up too bad. But yeah, a few times it did get tangled up where I had to cut it and put new spinners on. But that's all right. It was a lot of fun. I enjoy catching crappie. Just one of my favorite fish to catch. I just caught a couple crappie and threw them back out. And I would say it was either a big mudfish or a pretty good sized bass. I grabbed my longest pole on the right side and away it went. And I never even slowed it down.